Hello guys, welcome back to Mediview. So today let's learn about the basic anatomy of eye. So firstly, the shape of the eye, it is going to be oblate and not spherical, okay? And also the volume of the eye, it is going to be approximately around 6 milliliters. Then next we will learn about the dimensions. So there are several dimensions like antero, posterior, horizontal and vertical, but we are just bothered about the anteroposterior diameter, that is going to be approximately around 24 milliliters. Now next part we'll go to about three layers of the eyeball. So there are three layers of the eyeball. The first one is the outermost, middle and the innermost. So outermost layer of the eyeball, it comprises of the cornea and sclera. So this green portion that you can see I'm marking is the cornea, and this gray one is going to be the sclera. So now cornea, it is going to take only about 1/6 portion of the eyeball and is transparent in nature. Whereas sclera, it takes about 5/6 portion of the eyeball and is white, opaque in nature. So now you can see the region between the cornea and sclera, there is a junction. So that is going to be called as limbus, and hence limbus, another name is corneoscleral junction. You can see that here in the eye, the circular margin between the cornea and the sclera is called as the limbus. So that's our outermost layer. Then next is the middle layer. Middle layer is also called as the uveal tract, and it is the vascular layer. So it comprises of the iris, and you can see there is a small gap between the cornea and the iris, right? So that small gap is going to be called as pupil. Then next part we have is the ciliary body. Ciliary body itself is divided into two parts. The first part is pleated and is called as the pars plicata, and the another part is plain, so it is called as pars plana. So together these two are going to form the ciliary body. And there are two functions of the ciliary body. Firstly is to secrete the aqueous humor, and another one is it is going to attach with the zonules which further attach to the lens. So these zonules along with the ciliary body, they are going to contract and relax so that the lens can elongate and shorten based upon the accommodation requirements. So another important point you have to remember is that when the ciliary body is going to contract, the zonules are going to relax. And when the zonules are going to contract, the ciliary body is going to relax. Okay. So now the next part is the choroid. So this red part you can see from the ora serrata to the optic disc margin is going to be called as the choroid. Now the next part is the innermost layer, which is going to be a retina. So this is the outermost layer and this is going to be the innermost region, and we have this green portion called as a retina, and the retina anteriorly is going to terminate at the region called as ora serrata. So now let us go towards the segments of the eye. So there are two segments of the eye, the anterior segment and the posterior segment. So anterior segment itself is divided into anterior chamber and a posterior chamber. So you can see this number one. This is the anterior chamber, which is bounded anteriorly by the cornea and posteriorly by the anterior surface of the iris. So this is the anterior chamber, and it is filled with the aqueous humor. Then another one is the posterior chamber, which is bounded anteriorly by the posterior surface of the iris, and posteriorly it is bounded by the lens and laterally by the ciliary body. So both the anterior chamber and posterior chamber are filled with the aqueous humor. And then we have the posterior segment. So the posterior segment is behind the lens and it is filled with the vitreous humor. So one thing is that aqueous humor, it is going to have watery consistency, and vitreous humor is more like jelly like consistency. And the rate of flow of secretion of aqueous is 24 microliters per minute. So that's it about the basic anatomy of the eye. Thank you very much.